Hi, Peaceful Living Warriors. I am coming to you from the screen porch again today. So I'm also popping in a little bit late, and I apologize for that. Um, yeah, so actually, my reason why is goes right along with um, our topic for today about take care of your stress. So I know I'm getting a little sassy the past couple of weeks with breaking busy, stop making excuses. And I am just doing that with a little bit of tough love, but it is done out of love because I watch so many people going through their lives in what I call a state of gray. And what I mean by that is people are so busy, 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 and they are in a constant state of chronic stress. I know that's a little redundant. So they're in a state of chronic stress. And I want to give you the gift of telling you that you do not have to live that way. And I am living proof of how you do not have to live that way. So I have told my story in different vlogs and different blogs, but just as a little recap for anybody who might be tuning in for the first time, I lived in a state of chronic stress for a very long time between graduate school and hello, darling cinnamon, cinnamon. Sorry. So, and I'll get to why I'm making little blubs right now. I lived in a state of chronic stress for a very long time. And I have made some drastic changes in my life, and that has helped to relieve my chronic stress, and it's helped to bring me into a place of more peaceful living. Now, I have experience both in making drastic changes, but also, more importantly, making little changes. And that's the gift I want to give to you all, is to say you can make little changes in your life to live a more peaceful, joyous life. Now, Sonoman, my sweet friend, she made some drastic changes in her life too. She was working in finance, well, accountancy, and working for, I think it was the county. Is that right, Sonoman? And in a regular 8 to 5 job. And she realized that that was not serving her in her life. And so she made some drastic changes like I did. And she has become a massage therapist and a Reiki master. And she is sharing her light with the world and giving herself a break at the same time as she's bringing joy and happiness to other people. And that's what I did too. So I jumped ship from academia and made drastic changes. But we don't all have to make drastic changes. I have coached lots of people through making small changes in their lives and bringing peace and happiness into their lives without leaving their jobs, without sending their kids to boarding school. I know that we all think about that every once in a while, but you don't have to do those things. You can bring daily practices into your life by changing the way you think about things, changing your mindset, and not making excuses for not taking care of yourself. And so this week's blog is about making excuses. And it's about the excuses I hear. Oh, hi, Brianna. Thanks for joining me. So I'm talking about making excuses for why we're not taking care of ourselves, why we are not moving forward in, I know, and not moving forward in our lives in peace and joy. So one of the things I hear a lot is that I just have so much to do, Jen. I just have so much to do. Sorry, glasses slipped. And that is very true. We have so much to do in our lives, especially if we're working moms, as both Brianna and Sonoman are. So yeah, I am an entrepreneur. I have so much to do. And one of the things that we find as entrepreneurs is that it's never done. As an entrepreneur, your job is never, ever done. You don't get to close your computer at the end of the day. But that is a myth. You do get to close your computer at the end of the day. You have to have the mindset to allow yourself to do that. So here's another little thing that I did today. one of the reasons I'm running a little late, one of the reasons I called my dear friend Snowman Cinnamon, um, I put in 2 very long days on Monday and Tuesday. I put in about a 16-hour day on Monday, and I don't normally do that, but it was something that I had to do. And I put in a 12-hour day yesterday on Tuesday, half of which was spent at a health fair, which was I was on for hours, exhausting. So this morning after yoga class, I normally would go up, take a shower, make myself look presentable, and then do my Facebook Live. But instead, I came out onto my screen porch and I said to myself, okay, I'm just going to take just a little rest, just a little rest. But a little rest turned into an hour of a rest because I dozed off, because that's how tired I am. Now, as an entrepreneur, I can do that for myself. But it means that I have to do my Facebook Live without makeup on and coming fresh from yoga, and that's okay. So that's one of the mindset things that I had to change, that I never would have gone onto a live video without makeup, without looking professional in my previous life. But these days I can do that because it's okay. People will still accept me for who I am, and if they don't, that's okay too. They don't have to. So I give myself permission to not be perfect and polished anymore at all times. Another thing that you can do to give yourself permission is, even if you have a full-time job with a boss, if you are putting in long days, have a mindful conversation with your boss about how you need to take some time off before you burn out. I have a client, a former client actually, she's awesome. One of the things about coaching is that it's not forever. So she spent her 20 sessions with me and then she was done, and she checks in every once in a while, and she's using her coaching manual to help her lead her peaceful life. Now, she has a very high-powered job. And when she first started working with me, she was thinking that she was going to leave her job and do something completely different, but she didn't know what. But what ended up happening is, through the coaching process and through changing her mindset, she figured out how she could have conversations with her president and do things differently within her current job to make it so that it was easier on her, and so she wasn't burning out anymore. And now her job is so different and so much more manageable, and yet she's actually being promoted again. So again, she was afraid to have these conversations with her boss. He's a very stern man, apparently, but she had the conversations, and now her life is so different, but she still has her job. So get out of the fear zone, because that is one of the excuses we make. Actually, maybe let me rephrase that. Maybe what we do is we make excuses based on fear. So I think that's a little bit more accurate. Here's another excuse I hear a lot. Well, there's nothing I can do about it. My kid's schedule is so hectic. And I have talked about this in previous blogs. I have talked about this in my blogs and blogs about mamas and dads. Put the oxygen mask on yourself first. Now, what does that mean? It means you have to take care of yourself first in order to really show up and be there and be present for your kids. So when you're stressed out and you're running all over the place and you're going crazy, sorry, just about to drop the computer, you're not showing up as a present, happy, joyful parent for your kids. So here's the myth we tell ourselves. Here's the excuse. It's that, well, I'm giving myself time by being with my kids if I'm taking them to soccer, and I'm there for them while they're at soccer practice. No. You know what? Former baseball mom, that was me. Did that for about 3 years. And my son was doing karate and baseball at the same time. My daughter was doing gymnastics and dance. And that is not being there for your kids. So that's being around, but it's not spending time with your kids. So I know that they love their soccer, or they love their dance, but one of the things I really try to urge people is not only for themselves, but for their kids to pull back on the kids' schedule. When we overschedule our kids, we are setting their mindset to think that they have to lead the same kind of busy, busy, hectic, hectic, don't stop until you drop life that we're living. And what is that doing for them? It's doing the same thing for them that we're doing for ourselves. And that is, it is setting them up just like we are setting ourselves up. Hi, Pastor Moss, good to see you. Just like we are setting ourselves up for burnout. And burnout is just the tip of the iceberg, because after burnout comes health problems. Our number one killer in the Western world is heart disease. And what is heart disease? It is a stress-based illness. So if we can, again, change our mindset, if we can allow ourselves the grace to stop making excuses and to not be so overly scheduled with our kids, with ourselves, we give ourselves the gift of better health, as well as the gift of more joy and happiness and relaxation in our lives. Now, let's talk about that again in terms of the kids. I can hear some of my clients saying, my kids will never forgive me. Well, you know what? Okay. Tell your kids one activity at a time. You can be in the school play or you can run track, but you can't do both. You can be in the marching band or you can play football, but you can't do both. Not at the same time. So they're still having those joyful things in their lives, and they can, especially with sports, which is nice, they can do that in seasons. The other thing you can do is engage in the carpool, the beautiful carpool. The kids are okay with you doing that, as long as you explain to them, hey guys, you're still getting to your activity, but this makes things a little bit easier on mom or dad. That I can now go home and have a little time after work for myself to decompress so I can be a happier mom, I can be a happier dad. So again, think about that in terms of giving a gift to your children. Not giving our kids a gift by being grumpy and tired and stressed out, nor are we giving them a gift later in life by having stress-based diseases and they have to take care of us. Because then when they are adults, they not only get caught in the place of having to take care of their kids and having their own stressful life, but then they're also taking care of their ill parents. And that is what's going on with my generation right now. Those of us who are in our 40s and 50s, we are finding that we are a sandwich generation, that we're taking care of kids because we had kids a little bit later. Statistically speaking, we Americans, Canadians, we're having kids later in life. But then our parents are living longer, but they also often live very stressful lives. And so we are taking care of both of them at the same time. Give your kids the gift of not having to do that. Give them the gift that they get to take care of themselves because you are taking care of yourself. And I think really that is the most important point of all this, that if we can, hi Kelly, nice to see you. And Kelly is one who can attest to this. Kelly Lawrence just made a big jump in her life, and she quit her stressful job, and she is starting a business as an entrepreneur, and she is a specialist in elder care. And so now she is, as an individual, going into people's homes and caring for them, taking some of that stress off of their adult children. But she's doing it on her own schedule instead of working for a corporate entity in an assisted living facility. And so she's doing this in order to also give herself more time for herself. Because as the mom of 3 kids, that's a really stressful thing to do. And she was in a place that she was really unhappy. And so I love that she gave herself, I love, Kelly, that you gave yourself that gift, that you're going to take better care of yourself, and you're going to have an amazing, wonderful business that you have more flexibility with and more pay. So, see, sometimes these big jumps can really make a difference. These big changes can really make a difference. But if that seems too scary for you, it's okay. Take baby steps. Take those steps of saying, you know what? I am going to go into work a little bit later today because I worked late last night. And I'm going to explain to my boss mindfully that that's a good thing for me to do that. And I'm going to be more productive by taking some time off. Take the baby step of saying, okay, I'm going to get myself to the yoga class that I love. I'm going to get myself out to take a long, beautiful walk. I'm going to sit down and just sit quietly, and don't even worry about the word meditation. Just sit quietly. Listen to the birds. Listen to some beautiful music. Allow yourself that break. Now, we have a special thing coming up about self-nurture, and my dear Sonoman is going to be joining me for this. It is about the peaceful living of rituals. And so we are going to be talking about how to bring self-care rituals into your life and how to bring spiritual rituals into your life and how that is going to make your life more peaceful and happy. We just finished a poll on when to do that in the Empowered Through Peace Facebook group. And it looks like Monday evening is our time frame. So please stay tuned for which Monday we're going to do this. It will be coming up in the next couple of weeks. And the way you really want to keep track of anything that's going on in terms of online workshops is in the Empowered Through Peace Facebook group. And you can find that right here on Peaceful Living Wellness, or just put a search in Empowered Through Peace. And I have daily motivations, daily inspirations, conversation, online workshops, meditation challenges, all sorts of fun stuff going on in there. And it's free, so it's not a paid membership. Join us. We would love to have you join that conversation. All right, Peaceful Living Warriors. Went on a little bit long today. I apologize. But give yourselves a break. Stop making excuses. And hi, Tammy. Nice to see you. And I'm just about to sign off, but please watch this on the replay. And don't forget, peaceful living is just one breath away. Namaste, y'all. Thanks for joining me.